Whenever you're ready.
Barrett, Trevor Groves from CUTigers.com. Last year was the rough game up at Notre Dame, almost a year ago to the day. They were just a more physical team that night. What do you remember about that game, and is that much of a sticking point with y'all?
Yeah, it definitely is a sticking point. They physically dominated us, just like you said. So, we had to watch that tape and figure out what we did wrong and make sure that we don't make those same mistakes this Saturday. But we know that they're a really complete team across the board. Great, yeah, like I said, great across the board. So we got to bring our A game. Attack this game the same way we attack every single game. But especially where you're playing a physical downhill team such as Notre Dame, but you have to bring your big boy pass. So looking forward just to getting back out and competing and showing that we're able to compete with a team such as Notre Dame. But definitely just looking forward to the opportunity.
Barrett, what did they do specifically that just allowed them to just run the football the way they did on our last year?
Yeah, we didn't. Honestly, we didn't show up like we should have. I wouldn't even say there was so much something that they did. We didn't show up and play like we should have, and we realized that after the game, and we didn't play like we should have that game. But I wouldn't say it was anything so much that they were doing that threw us off guard, but we just didn't show up and play physical like we should have that game.
Were you not just expecting them to be that physical? What do you mean by you guys didn't show up like we should?
Yeah, I don't really know what didn't resonate that night, but we knew that it was going to be a physical game, and we prepared for that all week. And I think we were coming off, if I'm not mistaken, we were coming off a bye week. So yeah, we had 2 weeks to prepare for them. So we knew it was going to be a physical game. And yeah, like I said, I don't really know what didn't resonate with us, but we just didn't show up and play like we should have that game.
When you're coming off a bye, is there anything to, like, I know a lot of teams, especially defensively, like they'll miss tackles. I mean, is there anything to that, just not having that game intensity for 2 weeks?
I mean, if you attack every single day of practice like you have a game that week, it shouldn't matter whether you're playing on Saturday or not. So I think that was like a really great week of practice that we had last year leading up to the game. So like we just didn't show up on Saturday like we should have. So, but no, when you have a bye week, as long as you attack, as long as you have the mindset that you're going to play, or that you're going to practice the same way if you have a game or not, you should be fine. So, but yeah, we didn't show up like we should have when we played them last year.
Barrett, what's it like in these moments, Dabo has his viral moments and all of that. What's it like to see your coach going to bat for you guys like that? And what's it mean to hear him continue to just kind of take that stuff on head on and be willing to be the person to take it, to wear it?
Yeah, with Coach Sweeney doing that, it's hard for me because, like, I love Coach Sweeney and I appreciate him doing that, but, like, for me, being the competitor that I am and never wanting to lose anything that I'm doing, whether that's playing football, playing video games, whatever it is, I'm a competitor. So with him doing that, it's cool to see, but, like, at the same time, like, it also just kind of like lights a fire inside of me and just makes sure, like, yeah, you don't want your coach staff to like stick up for you and take the blame for anything like that, because I feel like it's also on us players to go out there and execute whatever is being called or whatever. So I think it's great that Coach Sweeney does that, but at the same time, it also like lights a fire inside of me and wants me to like even like go harder for the guys and just make sure that we don't want our coach to have to step in and say, well, here's this and here's that. Like it's on us to line up and dominate the person in front of us. So it's great that Coach Sweeney does that, but at the same time, I don't want him to have to ever do that again.
He tells us all the time in here that winning is really hard, but losing can be even harder on a football team. Emotionally, from a totally different perspective, how are you guys as a team trying and continuing every day to stay united? Because being accountable and holding each other accountable, like those are fine lines to walk within the walls of a football program. How are you guys, and is there any extra focus on staying together through this adversity?
Yeah, so although it is showing up in the win-loss column as a loss, we're just taking it as a lesson learned, and we're carrying it with us into the next weeks prior that we can't make these mistakes if we want to win these games and all that. So you try not to in your head make it seem like you're losing. You just try to make it seem like it's a lesson learned, and you're carrying stuff with you into the next week so you don't make those same mistakes. So obviously, when you look at our record, we're 4-4, and it's disappointing to say the least, and we're all frustrated. But you know, once you step on that field, once you step on the field against another opponent, no one cares about a record at all. They don't care about the score from the last week's game. They don't care about injuries, none of that. They care about winning that game. And I think that's just like the mindset that coach has been trying to preach to us, and also what I've been trying to preach to the guys. Like, no one cares at the end of the day, and we can't sit around and feel sorry for ourselves, because Notre Dame, they dang sure don't care what our record is. And they were 5-3 last year, and they whooped our tail. So you know, it doesn't matter what the record is. We have to just show up on Saturday and just prove that we can compete and prove that we can, you know, play with the best teams in the country, which we can.
Part of Dabo's comments today were that his frustration comes from the personal attacks and people attacking you guys and having no idea how hard you're working or what all of it takes, and the personal side of all of it. And so I'm wondering if you can shine a light for people on what it's like, what this season is like, to have had the expectations, to have the talent that you see out there alongside you and the talent you yourself have. How frustrating this is to not be getting the results that you guys expected and worked for.
Yeah, it's super tough, because dating back to January, we worked so hard and put in so much extra time, not just on the field but in the film room, making sure that we corrected the mistakes that we needed to correct. And you know, looking into our locker room, and like on our roster, we have dudes across the board, and it's really frustrating just to see that our record is not showing that. But you know, also I'm very optimistic about what we have, and you know, the guys that we have, the players that we have, the young guys that we're developing, the lessons that they're learning too. So you know, obviously it's frustrating that, you know, we're not 8-0, and we're not. I mean, anything can happen, but you know, obviously we're 4-4, and it's frustrating to say the least. But you know, guys are learning, and it's going to be a lot of stuff for the guys to carry with them next year. Hopefully a lot of momentum going into next year. But you know, we're building a lot of experience, and these young guys are growing up super fast. So you know, it's tough to say the least. But you know, I'm very optimistic going into the future, just knowing who we have and you know what we can do.
Is this you 7-7 since last year's game? Is this kind of where you guys could flip that script now? Maybe is that opportunity?
I think it is for sure. You know, there's a lot of speculation going around that we're this, we're that, but you know, if we go out and handle our business Saturday, we can definitely flip the script and you know, flip the narrative about Clemson football. So you know, we're focused on today's practice, which is a Tuesday practice, and just, you know, getting 1% better every single day. You know, hopefully if we do that, we should go out on Saturday and dominate and just show the world what we're about, and you know, that Clemson football is still here, and it's just a little I don't even want to say a down year, but just a year full of lessons that are being learned.
They're back. Number 7 had a big game against you last year. Big run early in the game, kind of set the tone. Catches a lot of balls out of the backfield. How excited are you about being able to go up against him?
Yeah, and 7's a great player, a great running back, and any chance he gets to compete, especially with a high caliber player like he is, you know, you can't back down from that opportunity. So I'm looking forward to it. Just showing how we match up as a defense, and you know, me personally as a linebacker going against a running back like that. So I'm super excited just for the competition, and just show that, you know, us as a defense, and that we can compete with the best of them. So it should be a great challenge for us.
Hey Barrett, I have a question for you about chunk plays. So Concepcion had a 51-yard rush and a 72-yard catch on the slant. It was actually 61% of their total yardage. The rest of the plays, 79 total yards on 44 plays, under 2 yards of play. How crucial is it against an opponent like Notre Dame with 7, like you said, superstar running back, to cut out those chunk plays? Yeah,
chunk plays are huge. You definitely want to make them want to nickel and dime up the field. You want to stop them, but you know, if they're going to get those plays, you want to make them nickel and dime, and not just get them all in one play like NC State did. So that's definitely going to be a point of emphasis, or it has been a point of emphasis this week in practice so far. Just watching them on tape, just don't let them get those explosive plays, because those are huge with momentum too. So we're definitely going to have to limit that if we're going to, win this game and win the momentum side. But 7-7, they also have other playmakers too who can take you up top and break off big runs. So we're gonna have to be on our P's and Q's and just play physical and get downhill and stop those big plays from happening.
Do you feel like the run defense is rounding into form? I mean, less than a yard per carry on all runs outside of the Concepcion run, as I mentioned, 2.5 yards per carry in total. Felt like the run defense was very solid against NC State.
Yeah, I'll say it was pretty good. It's definitely not where it should be by any means at all. Just I'm holding us to the highest standard possible, and I know what we're capable of. So I know that we have so much more left in the tank that we can still, that we're leaving a lot of plays out there on the field. So there's definitely more that we can show and more that we can do as a defense. But that 2.5 yards per carry, that should be much lower. So definitely never satisfied with that, and just looking to lower that even more this week.
Sam Hartman had a big game against y'all up at Wake Forest last year. Louisville's kind of had his number the last 2 times they played him. What do you think Louisville's defense has done so well to have so much success against him?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just making him uncomfortable. Like when you have a quarterback like that, the last thing you want to do is make sure that he's just feeling good in the pocket and making those easy throws, and because those easy throws will make those will lead up to big plays happening. So we just got to make him super uncomfortable. Make sure that he feels pressure, and we want to make him scramble and make him get out of his comfort zone. So that's just going to be like a big thing for us to make sure that he doesn't get comfortable, because when he's comfortable, that's when he can really hurt you.
What are the main differences on tape that you see with Hartman in the mesh point system at Wake versus what he's been doing, more of a traditional style offense this year at Notre Dame?
Yeah, I mean, I think besides the mesh, I think it has a lot of similarities. With their pass game, they do a lot of